It's time for the social show with Viwe Kyolwana.
Social show? Social show.
Very warm welcome to the social show. My name is Viwe Kyolwana. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking all things CSI, CSR, and shared value. Of course, if you have anything that you'd like to let me know before I even start or get into the show, please do so at brandlife.co.za, or you can just send me an email at press@social-tv.co.za. I also want to remind you that Social TV is actually where you'll get all your CSI updates from a video perspective. If you want to see us, you want to see the kind of work that we cover, the kind of work that we've been doing in and around South Africa, please go to www.social-tv.co.za. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. It's September. I'm excited. The year's about to end off. I don't know how you guys are feeling about progress in the CSI space for this sort of few months left in the year. I think a lot of companies are coming out really strong with a lot of initiatives just to sort of finish up the budget. But I've been quite happy with what CSI space has been doing in the last couple of months. I've been quite happy with how corporates that I've spoken to are seeing the importance of being socially active and being socially in tune, whether it's from a justice perspective, social justice perspective, which I see really creeping in this year, or just from really trying to further educate and progress the community at large. Yesterday, I was at a really, really great event in Diepsloot where I Innovate was sort of helping out, or is helping out as a program there where they're helping young, kids, grade 9 upwards, to really get into robotics and AI technology. And I was astounded and I was so happy. And I was like, can this thing just be everywhere in the world? Can it, in the country rather, sorry, can it be a subject in every class? So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of new developments that I've seen, and I'm very excited about this part of the year because we're going to see a lot of initiatives pop up. We're going to see a lot of runs, a lot of walkathons, a lot of really, really, I think we're going to see CSI. We're going to see a lot of corporates really trying to put in their hours and putting their crunch time into projects, which I think can be a good and a bad thing. But anyway, that's just my opinion. We're going to go straight into the news for now.
CSI update.
Dell, together with Springboks, has launched the first of its Box for Books initiatives at its Solar Learning Lab in Soweto. The partnership entails Dell EMC and Springboks joining forces to empower the learners at Mdeni Secondary School with the technology they need to succeed in today's data and IT-driven economy. Furthermore, Box for Books encourages and enables increased literacy by giving learners access to a library of online books accessible from 10 computers within the Dell Solar Learning Lab. This is a solar-powered computer center housed in a shipping container located in various schools and premises that are made available to the community. In other news, KFC, South Africa's Harvest Initiative, aims to change the way quick service restaurant industry deals with surplus foods in restaurants. The program helps to reduce the volume of food dumped in landfills while combating climate change through the reduction of greenhouse emissions associated with food waste. The Harvest program sees just under 200 KFC restaurants repurposing what they do with surplus chicken and getting it to people that they need most. To date, since 2015, KFC has donated approximately 300,000 kgs of food, actually more than that, which has been converted into in excess of 1 million meals. Surplus food is defined by KFC as food that is perfectly fit and safe for human consumption, but a surplus in nature due to the standards and the procedures that exist within its restaurants due to strict internal hold times. And lastly, in our news, the winners of the 2018 Entrepreneur of the Year competition were announced this morning, with Samuel and Motlape Molife, founders and the owners of Modi Mining CC, named as the overall winners. Modi Mining provides contract mining services to companies specializing in the South African mining sector. Speaking at the event, spokesperson for 2018 edition of the competition, Gugum Jadu, said Malife couple was selected as overall 2018 Entrepreneur of the Year winners because of their remarkable growth and expansion of their business exhibited in spite of harsh conditions. And that concludes our news for today.
Whether you're an athlete or just going about your day-to-day business, use Turbo Freeze on the go for any pain relief or inflammation. It's the #1 pain relief formula. To find out more, log on to our website www.turbofreeze.co.za.
What? What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
Hey Sam, how's it going?
John, how funny. I was just telling my sister how inspiring it is to see you out and about. Good for you, man.
What?
People with disabilities don't want to be put on a pedestal. They are just like you and me and should be treated no differently. The disabled community is the third largest market segment in the United States, surpassing Hispanics, African Americans, and Asian Americans. But they are still searching for equality. Special treatment is not needed and is condescending.
Share your what moments. Give your voice. Seek change. For more information about sharing your what moment, visit theawarenesscampaign.com.
What?
When you've been around for almost 150 years, you operate in 197 countries, and you sell millions of products a day, you have opportunities and responsibilities. A responsibility to respect people and the environment, to do the right thing, to be transparent. That's why we've asked you how we can be a better business. We've listened to what you said and taken action. We turned your feedback into 38 commitments, a set of commitments you can hold us accountable to, that we apply across our business. Sourcing, manufacturing, packaging, marketing, consuming. We've already come a long way, but this is just the beginning. We know there will be challenges, and while sometimes we might surprise ourselves, we won't always get it right first time. But we're determined to do more and to share our progress with you. To find out how we're doing, visit Nestle.com.
Well, you're back on the social show, and of course, if you missed the first part of the show, worry not, there will be a podcast right after this, and you can find out what it is that you're missing out on and what you don't know, which you can get into as well. Today is quite an interesting day. As I said yesterday, I was in Deep Sloot and I was talking to one of the iInnovate facilitators about the importance of AIs and robotics and just innovation and building and just different ways of really educating children nowadays. You know, back in my day, it was just like math, science, physics, and you'd write a test and you'd leave. But now I see a lot of changes in terms of what it is that kids get exposed to in the classrooms, whether it be from them building machines or them coming up with concepts that could potentially solve the community. There's quite a lot of things that are coming out because of these really amazing innovations that are coming out of the education process. And I think it's important that we speak about how important innovations are. And in fact, today I wanted to highlight a few of the innovations that have been said are going to change the world and how we actually see it. Now, this is a combination between the 545 report that came out of IBM quite recently, as well as the MIT new innovation report that also came out quite recently. And they're talking about the few of the innovations that could change the world. And if you know of any that are locally produced, that are in your community or in your environment, please send me a text, a tweet. And now I was about to give you guys my number, but please don't take my number. But if you could give me a few of the ideas that you have, or someone you know has, and they just need some funding and they just need some help, please come on my show and let's talk about them. I think it's very important that we do highlight the kind of technologies that we create as Africans, because they are quite I think unique to the kind of environment that we live in. So anyway, so between those two, the MIT Technology Review as well as the 545 report, I'm just going to give you a few things that they've put out, and maybe you can find out a little bit more about them in your own time and find out how you can sort of incorporate them in your social strategy, or you could try and find a way in which you can expose more people to that kind of technology or the ideas around technology building and innovation. Anyway, so the first thing I was really gobsmacked about is the AI powered robotic microscopes that will help clean up the world's water supplies. Now, we all know that water shortage is a problem, and it actually does affect up to a quarter of the world's population, and will still affect beyond 2020. The behavior of microscopic plankton, that's what it's called, can give vital clues on everything from chemical pollution levels to temperature change. Autonomous robotic cameras developed by IBM and powered by AI have the potential to monitor this behavior in more detail than has been possible before. Data from the cameras can be analyzed to give real-time insights into factors affecting water quality and life in our lakes and oceans. And I think it's very important in a continent such as Africa, where water is not only an issue in terms of its shortage and supply, but also in terms of its quality and how it sort of is or isn't drinkable. And I think this is one of those really, really cool ways in which AI really can change the way in which we live and the way in which we understand water, and the way in which people are or aren't affected by the things that they find in water. So that's one that's called from IBM, an AI-powered robotic microscope that will clean up the world's water supply. I want to live to see people in the Eastern Cape using this robotic feature for their water supply and putting it in and understanding the metrics around that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are still living in that pastoral life, that rural life, and it would be a great innovation, probably very expensive, and that's where the corporates come in, right? So from the MIT Technology Review, they spoke about agricultural drones. And I've heard a lot about this. Farmers have begun to use agricultural drones adorned with cameras to improve the treatment of their crops. The drones allow farmers a unique perspective that previously used satellite imagery could not provide. So that they help to expose issues with irrigation treatment, soil variation, distressed plants at a much lower cost than methods like crop imaging or demand sort of aircraft. The success of the drones is made possible by technological advances in GPS modules, digital radios, small MEMS sensors, I think it's MEMS, together with advances that allow farmers to bring greater precision to their crops in order to reap the greater rewards. Now we're doing the whole land reform thing, and I don't want to get into that, but if we are going to start getting into the farming space as a country, we really need to start looking at agricultural drones to make sure that everything sort of works out well. I think it's a great idea. I've seen it before. I've heard about it before. I've seen the kind of drones that they use for agriculture. It's very different from the security ones or from the filming ones. They're very much about understanding the crops, understanding how they're supposed to look and stuff like that. And I think it's going to go a long way around food security and climate change. I think when we have agricultural drones, we're able to sort of play around with how farmers can ultimately improve their their work and the food that they can produce for the country and for exporting purposes. So it's great for agri-processing, and I think it's going to be even greater for just agriculture in general. Another one that I thought was pretty cool was the brain mapping, which is something that is really, really coming out from, again, MIT, the review. They're saying that neuroscientists have worked for decades to better sort of understand the brain and its functions, and it's really, really important. But recent advances in brain mapping technologies have made that ambitious a little bit easier. An international team of researchers at the Human Brain Project have created 3-dimensional atlases of the brain. The map's resolution is 50 times better than any of the previous efforts. The atlas creators digitally stitched together thousands of brain cross-sections, and the map shows details up to like 20 micrometers in size, the estimated size of many human cells. While this is a huge advancement, science still aim to create a map that shows details at least 1 or 2 micrometers rather than 20. But I think it's a great innovation because especially for the health industry, I think there's so much that can be done to sort of fix and get a little bit more closer to understanding the human body. And I think technology is going to take it so much further. And in a country, in a continent like Africa, I think when we are sort of in general, like vulnerable to so many things from a health perspective, whether it's malaria, whether it's Ebola, whether it's listeriosis, which apparently is now no longer a threat, by the way. It's very important that we're able to get closer and closer to the body and understanding the body. And I think this is something that if you are a corporate, maybe something that you could either find out a little bit more about, or how we can get to South Africa sooner, how we can get to people a little bit more sooner, especially if you're in the healthcare industry. I think brain mapping can be one of the best ways in which we can find out how to really change people's lives and change how they how they are diagnosed, how quickly they are diagnosed, how quickly they're diagnosed, and so obviously preventing any loss of life or loss of brain work. So I think that's very important. I'm just going to end off with one more, which is a crypto anchor and blockchains to fight counterfeits. So nobody obviously likes knockoffs. I don't. Blockchain and crypto anchors will help to crack down on counterfeiting, as well as ensure security in the food supply chain. With over $600 billion a year lost to the global economy through fraud and counterfeiting, blockchain offers the potential to ensure the provenance of everything from food to diamond and life-saving medicines. In a global economy, goods pass through so many different sets of hands between their point of production and obviously the end consumer, and this leaves them open to tampering and theft problems, and all of these things contribute to fraud, and this blockchain technology will ultimately help to eliminate this idea. In order to work, however, there needs to be a tamper-proof link between the physical products and the digital records on the blockchain, and this is where crypto anchors come in, microscopic codes or identifiers which can serve as a digital footprint, if you must, to ensure security at every stage of the journey. What crypto anchors do is that they basically embed tiny codes like microscopic QR codes in a way that makes it so that if you try to sort of replace it with a similar one that is counterfeit, you can tell it's been tampered with. I would definitely want this, because I do think a lot of the time, especially when you're shopping online or when you're trying to get something for somebody or you're trying to get the best, it's very difficult for you to really get your money's worth, because somebody's counterfeited you or someone's committing fraud, especially online, right? This will change the way I see things. It's going to change the economy, the global economy, the internet economy as well. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to change the way in which we buy stuff, but also just in general. People work hard for their money. It's very important that they get what they buy, and super excited about that. Anyway, that concludes what I think a few of the innovations that are coming out of 2018 that are going to change the way in which we look at the world, the way in which we understand the world, and the way in which services and products are going to be given to us, and how CSI can get into that. There's a million of different ways. And of course, you can let me know on Twitter. I'm going to take a short break. We're going to be back after this with things to remember.
In this learning module, we'll share with you 4 compelling reasons why you and your organization should embrace community involvement and CSR opportunities. You demonstrate your commitment to the community, your team, and your customers. You elevate the charisma and mission of your business by association with your involvement, while broadening the public's awareness to your business and your brand. You allow your team to embrace a noble cause, which will strengthen their own reasons to see your company as preferred employer. And you'll actually open up your horizons, your own horizons, in the sharing and caring about issues that are actually important in your own community, and in doing so, elevate you as a leader with other like-minded leaders. These are the first 4 reasons that will help you decide to get you, your company, and your team involved with issues that matter to the very people that live and work in the community you call home.
Imagine that you have $1.25. In the United States, you can have 5 bags of deep cheese and a pretzel. In London, you can have an instant soup. In India, you can have 2 steamed rice cakes. In Ghana, you can have a small box of chicken and rice. While you're imagining the tasty smell of that chicken and rice, 1.3 billion people around the world only have $1.25 to survive per day. They don't have a choice, but you do.
It's time for my favorite part of the show, things to remember. The one thing that I want you to walk with in the back of your head as you carry on with your day this morning. And one of the things that I spoke about yesterday is the fact that on Friday it's going to be casual day, and that's a day where we sort of pay homage to people who are living with disabilities, and we celebrate them, and we sort of highlight where they are, and we try and raise funds for them. And obviously you can find out more information on their website, which is casualday.co.za, I'm sure. So that's what things to remember we'll sort of highlight today. We're going to talk about disability, we're going to talk about innovations in disability, and that's exactly what we're going to end up the show with. I'm going to play a clip, and then we're going to end off the show straight after.
Welcome to Tech Download Plus. I'm Amber Mack. The Americans with Disabilities Act just celebrated their 25th anniversary, an important milestone in the pursuit of a more inclusive environment. Modern technology is one of the driving forces behind this progress. Things that people formerly couldn't accomplish are now possible through science. Our first story takes a look at how one company is using cutting-edge innovation to help foster independence and remove barriers.
The Tobii Dynavox iSeries Plus is a speech-generating device that enables effective communication for people without an own voice and often with very limited motor skills. It's also about independence and social connectivity, so you can turn on and off your TV, open and close doors, etc. You can go out on internet, Facebook, Skype, text message your family. It's really something for these users that makes them feel included and independent in their everyday life. iSeries Plus have 3 different main input methods. Of course, the eye tracker, the gaze interaction, we call that. That's when you use your eyes to control the device. You dwell on a target or you blink, and by that you select. The next input method is the touch. It works as any other tablet or smart screen. The third input method, commonly used in assistive technology, is switches and scanning. We have 2 illuminators, 2 projectors in the iSeries Plus, and they send out near-infrared light that makes a reflection on your eye. And that reflection is recorded with our cameras in the eye tracking module. So the cameras know how your eyes look when you look at the calibration points. We can calculate any point that you look up on the screen. The iSeries Plus has a really unique feature called Wake on Gaze and Sleep on Gaze, and that lets the user be in control of when to wake up the device and put it back to sleep. It might not sound that exciting when you talk about it, but it's really something unique.
This is life-changing. This technology brings that opportunity to participate in their care, participate in their livelihood, whether it is to participate within their families. For every 100 people that needs a communication device in one shape or form, only 5 are able to get that. Ryan is an unbelievable young man. I mean, I've known Ryan now for 8 years. I've seen him go through many devices. It really has opened up Ryan's life and has brought tremendous opportunity for what his future can hold.
Cerebral palsy has left me unable to communicate verbally, making it difficult to make my thoughts known and to share my opinions with others. It was frustrating that I had so much to say and no means to share my thoughts and feelings. Getting the iSeries Plus was the most defining moment in my life. Not only did I see myself differently, but others did too. I have been able to continue my education by taking classes online in business management. This iSeries Plus technology will allow me to one day run my own business. The impact the iSeries Plus has had on my family and friends is like night and day. For my family, the best thing is knowing they can reach me anytime, anywhere.
There's so many users out there that could benefit from our solutions. When I think about the future, I think there is a lot of potential both from a humanity perspective, but also from a technology perspective.
Whether it's in education, medicine, or even sports, disability technology continues to help make our society a more accessible place for everyone. I went online to see what you think is the future of disability technology. Here's what you had to say. Karen Whalen tweets that many apps help students with autism learn on tablets at school. PJ Stephen mentions smartwatches for caretakers and sufferers of epilepsy and seizures. And Christian Newman says home automation helps people flick light switches, control thermostats, open locks from anywhere with far less effort. That's all for today's Tech Download Plus. Until next time, I'm Amber Mack.
I think it's always so interesting to find out what's happening around the world and what is really changing the lives of people. And I think for me, what I always say is if you can just make someone's effort less, they can conquer so much more in the world. And that's just an idea of how innovation and technology can really take people with disabilities back into a space where they don't have to, bring all their effort just to do really normal day things like switch off the lights or switch on the TV or communicate with people. So I'm always excited to showcase and find out more about the kind of innovations that are coming out. Of course, if you would like to find out more about what the kind of innovations that we spoke about now, you can just Google them, find out, get your head around them, and just see how you can maybe support a group, a school, a community that is suffering with disability, and you can sort of introduce this new technology with them, or you can just help them build their own stuff, build new stuff, and just be that change that you want to see. And of course, there's so many things that you can do in the disability space. Again, it's Casual Day on Friday. Let's not forget, let's buy our stickers. Let's make sure that we support and we honor people with disabilities, and we try and make sure that we are inclusive and open to the kind of work that they need to do to get where they need to get. And that concludes our show for today. It's been amazing. Social Show will be back again, same time, same place, only on brandlive.co.za.
Live from 27 Boxes in the heart of Melville, this is brandlive.co.za.